So welcome to my kitchen. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome to Cooking Today. Glad you're here. It smells like bacon in here, and you know I love bacon. We love bacon. We were just laughing how we all think there should be a bacon-scented candle. There probably is one somewhere, but whoever that is making millions because it smells so good. Of course, I would rather have real bacon cooking in my oven. I mean, in my kitchen, rather than it just smelling like it. I'd rather eat it, wouldn't you? Today, the reason we have bacon going is because I am making a Southern BLT sandwich. I'm just trying to keep it a little bit light. It is about 6 million degrees outside right now. And, you know, we don't want to have a big, long, hot oven on all day. And we don't want to stand in here and slave and get the kitchen all hot. And so this is a really, really easy, you know, kind of a light supper that we're just going to do in a skillet. So we do have our bacon going real quick. I'm going to check that. It has been going, and we want that good and crisp. And I love a little thick cut bacon, and I like it dark and crispy because my husband isn't here, and he likes his chewier and lighter. And I like mine darker and crispier, so that's how we're doing it today. Well, I'm just going to take that one out. I'm going to let those go about 1 more minute on that side. Love when it's really dark, dark, dark brown and good. It gets so salty and good. So what's making this a little bit Southern, not just your classic BLT, is green tomatoes. We're going to fry some green tomatoes today. And let me tell you, green tomatoes are not really available right now. And when they are not, you can always use a tomatillo. And all a tomatillo is a Mexican tomato. It's a Mexican green tomato. They're a little bit smaller than our green tomatoes. You know, ours are like the big ones that come out of our gardens and that are basically just not ripe tomatoes yet. That's really all they are. And so, you know, ours are much, much bigger, but these are a little bit more petite. Sometimes you can look for tomatillos, and there are some itty bitty ones. And so really you do, because we're going to put these on sandwiches, you really do want them to be as big of a tomatillo as you can get your hands on. So this one is actually pretty good sized. I mean, sometimes y'all, they're like teeny weeny, and those are great for roasting and chopping and putting in salsas and all kinds of sauces and all that kind of stuff. But I was able to find 3 pretty good sized ones today. So while our bacon is cooling on our paper towel lined tray, I am going to go ahead and give our tomatillos a little slice. Now let me tell you, there are a couple of schools of thought, I guess you would say, on how thick you want these. I really like mine a little bit thinner than thicker, especially when we are using tomatillos instead of green tomatoes. And here's why. Because these are smaller in just kind of the diameter of them, for us to cover our BLT, we're going to have to put 2 or 3 on there. You know, because we want this bite. We want a fried green tomato in every bite of our BLT. If I were doing so if we're going to layer them, they're going to kind of overlap a little bit when we have to put a few on our sandwich. So if they're too thick, then it's just going to be hard to eat and too much tomato and all that. So on these little tomatillos, I like to cut them about 1/4 inch thick or so, and that's it. And I'm going to lay them on a tray because we want to let a little bit of that moisture come out. Now, if I were doing like a green garden tomato, like an Arkansas garden tomato, and they are much bigger around, and you can put 1 on a sandwich, then I would probably go a little bit thicker on that because it's the only piece you're going to have, and I actually love a really good thick one that way. But these we're going to have to layer up a little bit to make them cover every single bite. And I'm just going to do a handful of these today. Oh, that one I didn't do very well. That one's got a bad spot. I'm just going to do a couple of these today. so we can build one good sandwich. And so let me tell you how we're going to work on this. We're going to do this. We're going to dredge this almost like we dredge, well, pretty much like you dredge and fry anything. Like we've done our chicken parm, like we did a fried chicken and blue cheese salad that where we dredge a chicken breast in a little bit of an egg wash, and then we put it in like a good flavored seasoning. This is exactly how we're going to treat these little green tomatillos for our sandwich. Same setup and all. Same method and all. So what I'm going to do is, now that I've got my tomatoes sliced, I'm going to go ahead and get a paper towel in the break. I'll do it in the break. And just pat these. We really do want the moisture out of them. We're going to pat those off and dry them. And then I'm going to go ahead and get some oil heating in my big double-handled fry pan that works so well for something like this. And then when we come back, we're going to start making our breading and start doing our dredging, and then we're going to make this delicious lemony dill mayonnaise to go on our Southern BLTs. This is Cooking Today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by West Rock Coffee Company.
Hi, welcome back to Cooking Today. I am making BL fried green teas today. BLTs with fried green tomatoes. Now, it's a little bit earlier in the season. Usually green tomatoes are available a little bit later in the season. But if you don't have green garden tomatoes, you can always use tomatillos. So that's what I'm using today. And the reason that I will tell you, I did a test run. The reason that you use these green tomatoes or these tomatillos instead of a ripened tomato is for a couple of reasons. One is that they are tart and delicious. So when you fry it or you put good seasoning on it or salt them at the end, they are outstanding. That little bite of tart that's such a nice surprise in there. Also, they are firm. And we're about to put these kind of through the ringer. We're going to run them through the gauntlet of a dredge, and we're going to fry them on both sides, and then we're going to stick them on a sandwich. They need to have a little bit more kind of girth to them, and these are nice and firm, and that is why they are so much better than tomatoes. I tried to fry a red tomato one time, and I even intentionally got one that was not all the way ripe, just so that I could see how they held up, and we didn't like them at all. Like, we didn't eat them. We took like 2 bites. Not our favorite thing, especially when you compare them to these greens. They're just so tart, you just can't beat them. So I've let these drain and just on paper towels, and then I blotted them a little bit to get the moisture out. And then in this plate right here, you know, I love to use my pie dishes for this because they're so handy. I just did 2 large eggs and then just whisked them together with my fork. And then right here in this pie dish, I can smell my oil getting really hot. In this pie dish, I have done, you know, that seasoned kind of breading that you put on chicken breasts and then you bake them in the oven, and you might shake them first. That's what this is. And I got the Parmesan crusted one. They have like flavors of those little coatings, those little seasoned coatings. So I did a yummy little Parmesan like coating. So I've done about a cup. It's really just like that little packet. Did you see how those came? A packet, so which is about a cup of those seasoned breading. And then for crunch, I'm going to do about a cup of Panko. And you know, we've used Panko, I don't know, 1.5 times around here, because they are Japanese breadcrumbs. They are not seasoned in the least, so they don't have any flavor, but they are as crispy as they can be, and they fry up beautifully. So you want flavor in your crumb, but then you also want it to be good and crisp. So that's why we've used Panko. And now I'm just going to get, well, I've got my little spurtle here. I'm just going to give this just a little spin because we do want it to be kind of mixed in real well. And then I think, you know what I think I'm going to do to this? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put a little bit of Creole seasoning in this, I think. I'm gonna do that right now. And you know how I generally salt things like crazy? I generally would salt, you would generally put salt in your breading, but since we're doing tomatoes, tomatoes will release their moisture when they're in salt. And so I really don't, we've worked to get these nice and dried out, right? So if I put a lot of salt, I'm gonna choke on Creole seasoning. I'm gonna go down right now. Choking on Creole seasoning. Excuse me. So we don't want salt to be in our breading, but you do want a little Creole seasoning, but don't breathe and talk on TV while you're putting it on mixing it all in. Generally, I would have you add salt to the mixture or, to the food because we like for our seasoning to be in our food, not just on top of our food. But when you salt tomatoes, that really makes it release their moisture, and we've done all this good work, and we don't want to go back on that. So we're going to salt them when they're hot, right when they come out of that skillet. So we have Creole seasoning, and then we have those flavored bread, like good coated breadcrumby, powdery coating in here, and our Panko, and it's going to be really, really good. Then what I have going is my double-handled frying pan, and I have just got some regular old vegetable oil in here, and we're going to check it and see if it's ready to go. And the way that you can find that out is you can kind of see it shimmer a little bit, and you can also take the end of a wooden spoon, and there's moisture in the wood, and if you see that, you can see that it's sizzled. So the moisture in the wood gives us our tester. So it's ready to go. So when we come back, we're gonna go ahead and bread these, and I'm gonna show you how we get them fried up, and we will build the most beautiful BLT sandwich, some really good lemony mayonnaise. This is Cooking Today.
Iced tea, sponsored by Blt'S.
What I love most about the farmers market is the music, the art, the food, the people themselves. That's local, that's Fayetteville.
Local means homegrown.
My kids can run around, they can choose what she wants to get and eat.
I like growing and selling directly to the public.
The market is kind of what community ought to be.
Visit us Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on the square.
The Fayetteville Farmers Market.
100% local.
And love.
Hi, welcome back. We are making Southern BLTs today with fried green tomatoes. So we're having BL fried green teas. And I'm making a beautiful lemony mayonnaise with chive and dill just to kind of cool it all off and kind of lighten it all up. We have our bacon that we've already cooked to a nice crisp golden brown, and it is sitting right here. I have dredged a couple of our tomatoes already and fried those up. Aren't they delicious? These alone for just an appetizer would be perfect with a little bit of this dip or a little bit of comeback sauce or whatever. I mean, delicious, delicious, delicious. These are so good, but these are going on our sandwiches. Let me show you how quickly and easily you can fry one of these little green tomatoes. So we've moved our dredging stations over here, and we have our egg wash and then our crumb mixture and then our very hot oil. These fry on each side so quickly. So probably only about a minute or so on each side, and you just need to watch them and then just get them out of there, okay? So here we go. We have our 3 tomatoes that I am just putting in this egg mixture and then just flipping them over both sides so that both sides are nice and coated. And then I'm gonna let the egg drip just a little bit, and then I'm gonna press it into our good seasoned crumb mixture. And on this, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a good little press and a good press. And the reason I'm doing this right here instead of over here is because we wanna take these right from the crumb right to the oil. Instead of, sometimes like when we've made chicken parm, we actually breaded them and then put them on a sheet tray and let them sit there for a minute. These were moving from station to straight into the oil. So you gotta kind of get your way all in order, because once it's time to roll, it is time to roll. Okay, so we've got breadcrumbs on both sides, our good little crumb mixture. making sure we're coated well. And then, you know how I feel about my little turner here. We use it like crazy. I am going to pick up my fried green tomato or my coated tomato, and I'm using my turner to lay it in there. I do not want 350-degree oil on my hands. Do you? A resounding no. Okay, and literally those, you can see the crumbs coming up the side because we have about, I don't know, about a ½ inch of oil in the bottom, just enough to really cover the bottom. We don't want to deep fry them where they're floating, but we want them to be just about as deep as the tomatoes are themselves. And you can see the little crumbs around the outside start to turn color, so you don't have to pick them up and look at the bottom, you know, because you're wondering if they're cooked or not. You can watch around the outside. These are going to literally cook on, or, you know, fry on each side for about a minute, and that is all there is to it, okay? And I can already tell that they, look how pretty, that they were getting brown around the outside. And I always use the side of my skillet because I don't want my hands anywhere near there because it's popping and spitting. So I always use the side of my skillet as like a little helper to flip on over. You could also use like another utensil to, you know, make that little flip. But you really want to be careful anytime you're around really hot oil like this. So these are going to finish in just about a minute exactly. And I have already toasted 2 pieces of really pretty sandwich bread. Just some good whole wheat, has a little oat on the top, just an extra little yummy bite. And then that, I'm going to call those done. You know that they're going to continue to cook a little bit when you lay them over on this paper towel. They're still sizzling, so you don't have to worry. They're going to go ahead and continue to crisp up while they are on this little sheet tray because they're still cooking and you can hear them. And while they're hot, you want to do a good little season of salt. And I've already done the others because, you know, we took those out a little bit earlier. And that is all there is to it. Isn't that so easy? I mean, that is a Southern snack right there. But we are going to put them on our good sandwiches. So look, we've almost got it all put together, don't we? Let's move on. Make sure I'm off here. We're off. We are going to move on to our yummy, bright dressing that we're going to put on our sandwiches. I love mayonnaise. Y'all aren't surprised. I've used it, you know, as often as I can. I love the mayonnaise. Of course, it's a very classic spread for a BLT, without question. But because we've got this good thick cut bacon, it's very salty and savory, and we have these fried green tomatoes, I just wanted to kind of lighten it with just something that's just a little bit brighter. So we're gonna make a really good lemony dill mayonnaise, just to kind of brighten it up and lighten it a little bit. We are gonna work on that when we get back, and we're gonna assemble these beautiful Southern BLTs. This is Cooking Today. Welcome back. We are wrapping up Southern BLT sandwiches today. We have beautiful, crispy brown, thick cut bacon. We have fried some green tomatillos, which could be tomatoes, whichever one you prefer, and seasoned that up really well on the outside with a little tiny bit of a little spicy creole seasoning, and then salted them when they were hot. And we've got some pretty pieces of Bibb lettuce that we've got laying here that we're just waiting to put on. And so we're going to spread this with this light, yummy mayonnaise. And all I've got here is some mayonnaise and some lemon zest, a pinch of cayenne, not a lot. We just want a tiny bit of heat in that cool dressing. And then I'm going to do a half of a teaspoon of dill, and then just about a tablespoon of chives. So we've got a little green in there. And now I'm just going to whisk that right up. Oh, it smells so good. The citrus and the dill I just love, and that earthy onion in there. Let's build our sandwich. So I've got my toasted pieces of bread, and I like to slather both sides. A little on the bottom, not a little, a lot. And then let's do our lettuce next. Several beautiful slices of big crispy bacon. Then we're going to top them with our fried green tomatoes. Top them again with our delicious spread and call it a day. Is that a good southern summertime sandwich or what? I hope you will try this recipe at home. Look at that. You will love every bite. This is Cooking Today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by West Rock Coffee Company. Kitchenware is provided by mayonnaise. Groceries provided by Harps, Hometown Fresh. Online Elements sponsored by Fayetteville Farmers Market.